The BJP claims this is a fit case to impose president's rule in Maharashtra. Narayan Rane has shot off a letter to the Union Home Minister Amit Shah, saying there's a rise in corruption, there is a rise in crime, there is lawlessness, and that is why central rule needs to be imposed in Maharashtra. The Shiv Sena, of course, maintains that the BJP is using central agencies to destabilize the state government. But that's not all. Devendra Fadnavis, the former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, says whether it's Sachin Vaze or even Parambir Singh, the police commissioner, they are mere pawns in a much bigger conspiracy, and the NIA needs to go after the real kingpins, the political masters. Take a look at the political fight.
The Ambani bomb threat probe is getting murkier by the day, as the NIA pulls out more and more evidence to nail Sachin Vaze, a tainted policeman who was reinstated by the Shiv Sena-led government. The powers that Vaze wielded, despite being only an assistant inspector, has raised many questions. Former BJP Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has been leading the charge, saying Vaze was only a pawn in a larger conspiracy.
इस मामले में ये जो सारा घटनाक्रम है, ये अकेले सचिन वाजे नहीं कर सकते, और इसलिए इसमें कौन-कौन है इसका भी विचार कि निश्चित रूप से किया जाना चाहिए। कुल मिलाकर मुझे यह दिखाई पड़ता है कि फेलियर ऑफ पुलिस नहीं है, यह फेलियर ऑफ गवर्नमेंट है।
The Shiv Sena, which has been opposing the NIA probe, is on the back foot. The Vaze affair has clearly embarrassed the state government. The belligerent stand taken has now mellowed.
पुलिस का ये जो दुरुपयोग हुआ है उसको आप रिपीट नहीं करेंगे, इतना तो आप आश्वासन दे सकते हैं।
कल हमारे पुलिस कमिश्नर ने उसका वचन दिया है कि जो गलती इस बार हुई है, हमारे लोगों ने की है, वो वापस नहीं होगी।
Ally NCP is not pleased about this, and Sharad Pawar has been in the thick of the damage control. On Friday, State Home Minister Anil Deshmukh briefed Pawar on the developments. With the BJP snapping at its heels, the Aghadi government is fighting with its back to the wall, particularly since the case involves a threat made to the country's richest man. Bureau Report, India Today.
There are many layers to this conspiracy and many unanswered questions. But let's for a moment talk about the politics of the subject, where the BJP says this is a fit case for imposition of president's rule. Joining me on India First, Rajiv Pandey, spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Daniel Francis is a political analyst, keeps a hawk-eye on the Shiv Sena. And for a perspective on investigations, we have Vikram Singh, former DGP of the Uttar Pradesh Police. Daniel Francis, is there merit in the BJP saying that in Maharashtra, the Rakshak has become the Bhakshak? The protectors are now the killers, and this cannot happen unless they have political patronage. Therefore, it's a fit case for imposition of president's rule.
Yeah, one should accept that this scandal is not an ordinary scandal. It's a very big faux pas on the part of some officials of the Mumbai police. Okay, but though Mr. Narayan Rane, I know him and he's a very seasoned politician, to say that, you know, it's a fit case for president's rule, I think a little exaggerated at this moment, because law and order in Maharashtra has not collapsed. As such, president rule has very serious assumptions and grounds to be laid before a governor recommends president rule to the center. Nevertheless, what is happening is that politics in Maharashtra has taken a huge jump, and most parties, particularly the opposition parties, are trying to expose the government and its failures and make it look as a case of absolute political and administrative failure on that part, because the house
Rajiv Pandey, where is the evidence? Where is the evidence? Okay, where is the evidence to link Uddhav Thackeray to Sachin Vaze, as several BJP leaders seem to be attempting to do? Courts will look at evidence and not just innuendos and political claims that are being made, unsubstantiated political claims that are being made by BJP leaders.
There's absolutely
There are 3 points.
Gaurav, first point is that whether the constitutional machinery has failed in Maharashtra or not, that you can see that in the financial capital, when API is involved in all these things, who was directly reporting to the Commissioner of the Police. That is first point. Second point, your question that whether Sachin Wade is linked with the Uddhav Thackeray or not, that only investigation can tell. But one thing is very clear, that Sisera tried its best to put pressure on Honorable Ex-Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, then Chief Minister, to reinstate him in 2018, which he has stated in his press conference, and he did not accept that. Sachin Wade was suspended in a murder case, custodial death case. Thereafter, I think in 2017, also some extortion FIRs were also filed against him. The moment Sisena government came in power, he was reinstated.
Okay.
Please note one more thing, that Sachin Wade joined Sisena as a party member also. In any official rule, if you are suspended and if you are joining a political party, that can be the sole ground for dismissal from the police force. So all these surrounding circumstances speaks a lot of things. And if you see the timeline.
Okay, so you're saying this is circumstantial evidence, but Mr. Vikram Singh, is there merit in the Mumbai police argument? Sir, give me a moment, let me bring another guess. Is there merit in the Mumbai police argument that the mere presence of gelatin sticks or a note does not make it a terror case for the NIA to probe? This is a case of murder of Mansukh Hiren and alleged corruption or alleged extortion, both that can be probed by the Mumbai police. The NIA is central imposition.
Mr. Sawant, I would say that it is too premature for anybody to jump to any conclusion. The fact of the matter is the gelatin sticks were recovered. Threat letter was there in the car. And if that be the case, the ingredients of the investigation being taken over by the NIA are complete as per the NIA manual and the NIA Act, and all the ingredients are complete. Now it is a matter of investigation to what extent the footprints lead to Jaish-ul-Hind or the ISI. In any case, the link of the ISI and the handiwork of the ISI is also a matter of talk and conjecture now. But to have a ramification and then the larger ramification, Mr. Sawant, I would say the 5G intervention by the Reliance Group and also the Chinese intervention to ensure that the 5G goes to China via Pakistan and not to the Ambanis, that is also a dimension that needs to be inquired into. The defense given by the Mumbai police is extremely weak. Mumbai police, like Rome, was not built in a day, but it has taken just one Sachin Wade and one Paramveer to demolish it brick by brick, all the goodwill that it had generated in 150 years of its glorious past. And it is not for the Mumbai police to state defense, it is for the courts and it for the NIA to say whether it should or should not investigate the case. Mr. Gaurav.
Daniel Francis, Devendra Fadnavis claims that both Sachin Wade and even Police Commissioner Paramveer Singh are mere pawns in a very big game. What is this big game? We still do not know because there is no evidence to indicate that this was either extortion or terror. Wade, according to Devendra Fadnavis, was acting as a Vasuli Adhikari or an extortion agent. The kingpins, he says, are political and need to be probed by the NIA and not by the Mumbai police. Would you agree with this?
Of course I would. I agree with the fact that a central agency should probe this matter. I fully agree with the fact because a serving officer of the Mumbai police is caught with his hands in the cookie jar. So, and it's not an ordinary case, it's a serious case with serious substance planted outside the house of India's most important person, which is a symbol of India's corporate regime. So, if NIA is investigating, let them investigate. Let them find out what the truth is. But to say that everything will come to some political handler somewhere, I don't agree with this. Because political parties in Maharashtra, as far as I know, and I come from Mumbai, are very seasoned players. Nobody in the political system will ever sanction a police officer or some misadventure on the part of police, whether it's extortion, whether it is corporate rivalry, whether it is terrorism.
And let us...
That, somebody can take a car of gelatin and plant it outside Mukesh Ambani's house. I don't think
Rajiv Pandey, where is the
either
evidence?
Uddhav Thackeray
Where is the
or
evidence?
Sharad Pawar or any other seasoned politicians and seasoned political parties, they will not do such a mistake. They know what to the cost of something.
Fair enough. Fair enough, sir, you've made that point. And, you know, Mr. Pandey, which is where we come to this question that where is the evidence to suggest that there was an attempt made to extort money either from Mr. Mukesh Ambani or anyone on that road? There is no clear motive. There is no evidence to suggest any of this. And the BJP says Uddhav Thackeray should resign and that there should be president's rule?
Gaurav, there are 4 facts. One fact is that the gelatin-laden Scorpio car was parked and with a threatening letter to one of the top industrialists in this country. That is first point. Second point is that to cover up that exercise, one person was killed. To disturb and to affect the trial, they killed him. So there are 3 offences taken place. One, a Scorpio terror threat case. Second is the destruction of evidence. And third is murder of Mansukh. Now you understand, in such a short time, these things have happened, and Maharashtra government was giving certificate, and some leaders of Shiv Sena were giving certificate that Sachin Vazir is an honest and very good officer. And you just imagine a person who was suspended for custodial death, he was reinstated and given all the more important cases from one to all, and he was made in charge of the CIU. He was directly reporting to the Commissioner of Police while driving in his Mercedes. Here one ex-DGP Sahab is there on the show. I have highest regard for him. Just ask him if any API comes when he was a DGP in the Mercedes. I think on the same day he will be thrown out of the force. So what was the power? From where Sachin was getting that power? And Parambir saying Sachin Vazir, who is the driving force in all these things? Just imagine an API.
So let's wait for evidence to emerge. Let's wait for evidence to emerge because Mr. Vikram Singh, the BJP has called Sachin Vazir a Shiv Sainik in uniform. You know, you heard Mr. Pandey and before that Devendra Fadnavis. Okay, so one by one. Permit me to ask a question. You know, Mr. Vikram Singh, the BJP says that he has an extortion case against him from 2017. The fact that he had multiple luxury cars from a Mercedes-Benz to Toyota Land Cruiser Prados to Skodas and lakhs being recovered from his car. A car that he drove to the police headquarters. This indicates high level of patronage, whether political or the police hierarchy. Perhaps you would be a better person to tell us, can this happen just with police patronage or would that patronage go higher, sir?
Mr. Sawant, the patronage would go much higher than that because of the fact that Sachin Vazir was, in fact, as you very rightly said, is actually a chalta firta Karyalay of the Shiv Sena. He was actually a Shiv Sainik and therefore I think he was not only second only to the police commissioner, but I feel that they were colleagues. And as Mr. Rajiv Pandey has said, the brazen manner in which he was indulging in corrupt practices, having flashy cars. I remember very well a sub-inspector came and saluted. I could notice a diamond ring and I asked him, how did he get the diamond ring? He got it from the dowry. He was dismissed from service then and there for 2 counts. For indulging in and accepting dowry and also living beyond his means. That is the level. You have to be cruel to be kind to ensure that a no-nonsense approach to discipline, integrity and professionalism. We do not allow this kind of brazenness, flamboyance in the department. And if there is flamboyance, what was the leadership doing? They were sleeping over it. You allowed the grass to grow underneath your feet, Mr. Sawant. You are also from a defense background. These things, there has to be a zero tolerance to corruption and a flamboyant lifestyle. And if somebody is condoning corruption, obviously he's mixed up in the corruption. As of now, the needle of suspicion goes up to the police commissioner, but I would dare say it goes much beyond that. And that is why they see the complicity of even higher ups. The defense and the naked defense of Sachin Vazir by the political bosses is that he's not Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden was a known and a branded terrorist. He claimed to be a police officer, Sachin Vazir, and yet he was worse than a terrorist.
Daniel Francis, this is where the Shiv Sena and perhaps Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray need to come clean. Because can all of this happen, the points that are being raised by our guests, without political patronage? Look at the comments that came from Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray on the 8th and the 10th of March defending Sachin Vazir, you know, whether saying don't make him into an Osama bin Laden or questioning the NIA probe, sir.
I think it was a tactical and political mistake on the part of somebody who ensured that Wazir comes in the system and is made part of a very important unit. Today, the same mistake has come to bite this government. And, the first few days, some Shiv Sena leaders were actually protecting them. But I really feel that I don't think they had an idea that what is going to hit them and how Wazir is going to be involved and what misadventure he's into. And but I really feel that though that's very clear now that he had patronage from a particular party, and all policemen have some patronage from some party. There are very few people who do not enjoy any patronage and do their job.
No, but are you downplaying that patronage, sir? You're saying he may have enjoyed he joined that party. He was not just the spokesperson of that party. He was also allegedly, and we'll be playing out those reports in just moments from now, whether he floated companies, he was director in some companies that had members of that political party who were members of all of that. Does that not indicate close proximity, as Devendra Fadnavis says, he was Vasuli Adhikari for them?
No, but to link him to the chief minister is something that is, I think, an aberration, because any person, they're in a political party, there might be thousands and millions of people. Every person doesn't work on the at the behest of the leader or the chief minister or the prime minister. You cannot blame every worker's misadventure on the part of Modi or Shah or Uddhav Thackeray or Sonia Gandhi. That's something an aberration. Okay. I will tell you one thing that
Rajiv Pandey respond.
As far as I know, in Maharashtra, no political party will ever sanction an
why
operation
link
like
him
this.
directly to Uddhav Thackeray? Why link him directly to Uddhav Thackeray?
Daniel, Gaurav, I think that is a matter of investigation, and investigation will reveal. But the surrounding circumstances speak something else, that it is not, Sakir Wazir was not only protected by the Commissioner of Police, by the political bosses also. My second point is, don't leave other parties, other alliance partners, they are also responsible. How Home Minister was doing everything, what Sakir Wazir was saying, or Commissioner of Police was saying. Finally, first you stop with the Home Minister.
Okay.
So you have
please respond. Please respond. Please respond, Mr. Francis.
Whether Rahul Gandhi was also getting some part of that wasuli. Rahul Gandhi, Congress Party.
No, how do you bring in Rahul Gandhi? No. There has to be evidence. There cannot be. I'm sorry. Unless there is evidence, it can't be slander. We cannot indulge in slander. Okay, Daniel Francis wants to respond.
That this is what the real problem of our politics is today. These people politicize everything, and we will never come to know the truth. Please investigate, whether it is NIA, whether it is CBI, whosoever wants to investigate and find out the truth. Don't politicize and just drag people in. Find out whether this Wazir is a man of some corporate conspiracy, some foreign hand, some misadventure on his own, some guys in the police have gone rogue. Please find out and please bring them to justice.
Okay. Let it be on the basis of evidence.
This is a very important case, boss. Somebody has planted gelatin in outside the house of India's most important person.
Come out with the evidence.
You are playing politics and not being able to find out what the truth is. All the time, bringing politics in the picture, and we will never know the truth. These are important cases.
What about Congress? NCP Home Minister.
Wait. The last word to Mr. Vikram Singh. No, this political tutu meme, Mr. Vikram Singh, how do we ensure?
Solve it, please.
It's only the NIA that can carry out an investigation, because right now there are two parallel. There are two parallel investigations. The murder is being investigated by ATS. The alleged terror plot is being investigated by the NIA. Should the same agency be probing both the cases? I believe the NIA is also making that request to court.
Precisely, Mr. Sawant, that it will be fitness of thing that in both the cases, because they represent the two sides of the same coin. Murder is inextricably linked to the terror plot or to the alleged plot, and therefore both the investigations must be entrusted to a professional agency like the NIA, and that will be the justice to the whole case. And the entire picture will come out only after a professional investigation. Let us not jump to conclusions, but yes, to write the obituary of the police force of the country, which is known for discipline, integrity and professionalism, The rot is much deep than we had ever comprehended, and that is what the sorry state of affairs is. I do hope there is course correction by the police leadership and the political leadership.
We'll be tracking that story very closely. I will let that be the last word on this part of that discussion. But for the moment, Daniel Francis, Mr. Pandey and Mr. Vikram Singh, many thanks for joining me. So what is the background of this? This is, as Mr. Vikram Singh was saying, one of the murkiest and the most twisted mysteries that Mumbai has seen in a very long time. It started outside the house of one of India's, or perhaps India's richest industrialist a few weeks ago. But with each passing day, it's getting murkier and more hair-raising.
The Antilia bomb scare case has quaked the Mumbai police, leading to the exit of Mumbai Police Commissioner Parambir Singh. Hemant Nagarale will now command the Mumbai police, and Parambir Singh has been transferred to Home Guard. The question now is, how did Parambir Singh become a casualty in Antilia bomb scare case? Parambir Singh's exit was confirmed the moment the NIA team stepped foot in Mumbai. But even Parambir Singh had not anticipated such a quick, unceremonious exit. Events unraveled rapidly after the NIA team searched the Crime Intelligence Unit at Mumbai Police Headquarters on Monday night. The NIA found some evidence during its search for which it wanted to interrogate the former police commissioner. But the interrogation of a police commissioner by another investigative agency like this was embarrassing for the Maharashtra government and the police force itself. According to sources, the NIA also understood this fact. Therefore, it sent the message to the government and the top police officers that the police commissioner's statement was necessary for the investigation. This way, the Commissioner of Police will not be summoned but still be questioned for a statement. It was decided on Wednesday afternoon that Parambir Singh be transferred before evening, so that when the NIA interrogates him, he doesn't hold the post of the Commissioner of Police.
इस मामले में ये जो सारा घटनाक्रम है, ये अकेले सचिन वाजे नहीं कर सकते, और इसलिए इसमें कौन-कौन है इसका भी विचार कि निश्चित रूप से किया जाना चाहिए। कुल मिलाकर मुझे यह दिखाई पड़ता है कि फेलियर ऑफ पुलिस नहीं है, यह फेलियर ऑफ गवर्नमेंट है।
Parambir Singh was accused of supporting Sachin Vaze from the beginning. It is also said that Sachin Vaze used to report to Parambir Singh directly in several important cases by bypassing his senior officers. In fact, Sachin Vaze was close to Parambir Singh when he used to be a DCP. Even then, he was in his team. After 16 years of dismissal, in June 2020, when Sachin Vaze was reinstated, no one else but Parambir Singh approved it. In fact, Sachin Vaze was suspended in 2004 in the custodial death case of a blast accused, Khwaja Yunus, in Ghatkopar. He was also arrested and later released on bail. The matter is still in the Sessions Court. Several policemen, including Sachin Vaze, are under trial for the killing of Khwaja Yunus. However, in June 2020, 16 policemen, including Sachin Vaze, were reinstated, citing shortage of police staff due to COVID infections. But only 9 months after he was reinstated, Sachin Vaze was arrested again in the Antilia case. But that's not the end of the story. Several other policemen are under the NIA's radar. Bureau Report, India Today.
So the investigation started with that suspicious Scorpio with gelatin sticks found inside. Next, a mysterious Mercedes-Benz emerged. The owner of one of the cars was then found dead in a creek. The other, completely clueless about this terrifying path that this story has taken.
While the NIA was still piecing together the puzzle of the two vehicles, a third vehicle has added a fresh twist. A Mercedes with lakhs in cash, cans of diesel and petrol, and a note counting machine has put the officials in a tizzy. And what's more concerning is that the same vehicle was parked inside the police headquarters in the parking lot of the crime branch office where Sachin Vaze was working. Late on Monday night, the NIA team reached the crime branch CIU unit's office at the Mumbai police headquarters, where Sachin Vaze and his team operates from. The NIA team searched the entire office. A DVR was recovered that had pictures of the complex of Sachin Vaze's house in Thane. When the NIA team exited the office, it suddenly caught sight of this black Mercedes. During interrogation, it was found that this Mercedes had been parked there for days. But the real shocker was that it belonged to Sachin Vaze. The team immediately decided to search the Mercedes and found the number plate of the very Scorpio that was parked outside Antilia with explosives. Not only that, there were other number plates inside the car as well. The thing that surprised NIA officials the most was the note counting machine it recovered from the car. Now the question is, why was there a note counting machine inside the Mercedes? Whose money was it? Whose machine was it? And the biggest question is that in addition to the recovered 6 lakh rupees, was more money kept inside the Mercedes, where they counted and divided? If yes, among who? Is there a connection to the Antilia case?
NIA ने आज एक ब्लैक कलर की मर्सिडीज बेंज को सीज किया है, जिस सीजर में जो स्कॉर्पियो पे नंबर प्लेट थी उसको रिकवर किया है, 5 लाख से ज्यादा कैश रिकवर किया है, एक नोट काउंटिंग मशीन रिकवर की है, कुछ कपड़े रिकवर किए हैं। ये गाड़ी सचिन वाजे चलाते थे, ये किसकी गाड़ी है इसके बारे में अभी जांच चल रही है।
The owner of this Mercedes is a resident of Dhule city in Maharashtra. The NIA is investigating the link between the Mercedes owner and Sachin Vaze. India Today's team tracked down the Mercedes owner, who claimed that he had sold his car back in February.
गाड़ी मेरी अभी है नहीं, गाड़ी मेरी थी और ये गाड़ी मैंने मिडल ऑफ फरवरी 2021 में ऑलरेडी को सेल आउट कर दी थी, तो इस सब मैटर में मेरा कोई रोल है नहीं। जो एक गाड़ी बेचते समय जो कुछ प्रोसेस होती है वो सारी मेरे पास है और सारे डॉक्यूमेंटेशन मेरे हैं।
Apart from the car, NIA has seized 3 items from Sachin Vaze's office: DVR, iPads and mobile phones. This is the same DVR which was taken by the crime branch CIU team from Vaze's housing complex on the 27th of February. According to the NIA, this DVR is the most important evidence in this case. NIA believes the Scorpio used in the Antilia case was parked in Sachin Vaze's house, Saket housing complex, from February 17th to 25th. According to NIA sources, the DVR has been tampered with. The DVR has been sent for forensic investigation. According to the NIA investigation, Mansukh Hiraine's car was not stolen, but it was part of a bigger plan. Under the same plan, Mansukh Hiraine reached the Eastern Express Highway at around 6 p.m. on February 17th and parked his car on the roadside. The car was parked in a place where there were no CCTV cameras. According to NIA sources, after parking the vehicle, Mansukh Hiraine gave the key to a policeman of Crime Intelligence Unit. He then took a cab and proceeded to Mumbai. Later, the same policeman took the car and parked it at Sachin Vaze's house. Apart from Vaze, only 3 to 4 policemen of the CIU unit were aware of the exact location of the Scorpio between 17th and 25th February. One of them is Riaz Qazi. Assistant Police Inspector Riaz Qazi is also the person in the crime branch CIU who took the DVR with CCTV footage from Sachin Vaze's house during the investigation. NIA has been grilling Riaz Qazi. Sources say NIA is also interrogating people associated with Mansukh Hiraine to unlock the mystery of the Scorpio that was found outside the house of India's richest man. With Mustafa Sheikh and Saurabh Bakhtania. Bureau Report, India Today.
Both the Mumbai police and the NIA are of the view that Assistant Police Inspector Sachin Vaze is central to decoding this entire case. But politics on the subject has now escalated, with political leaders saying that Sachin Vaze was merely a pawn. This is a much bigger case. So there are scant pieces of CCTV images that have emerged that have actually added to that mystery. They've raised more questions. The latest is a clip of a man in what appeared to be a PPE kit at that point of time. But was it a PPE kit? The police believe that it was indeed API Sachin Vaze who was wearing a kurta but also hiding his face. Why? Will we get to the bottom of this mystery?
Is this Sachin Vaze in a PPE kit? The forensic report of this CCTV video footage is awaited. But how will this video be investigated? Let's try and decode if the man you see in this clip is Sachin Vaze or not. There are two images, one of a man in what appears to be a PPE kit and the other of suspended police officer Sachin Vaze. Let's decode these two pictures individually. Are the moves and gestures of these two men similar? Is it just a coincidence or is it something else? Both appear to move their hands back and forth while talking. Both their bodies seem straight as they walk, and both their feet point outwards while walking. And the most important thing is that Sachin Vaze often keeps his mobile phone in his hand. The suspect in this alleged PPE kit can also be seen with a mobile phone in his hand. But is that enough to make the confirmation? Now it's also being said that it is not a PPE kit but an oversized kurta. Well, whether it's a kit or a kurta, who this man is needs to be investigated to unravel or at least get the next steps in the Antilia bomb scare mystery. Bureau Report, India Today.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.